All right, so really quickly, while we're getting Mini set up, we do have another donation from Mr. Era from himself, who sends in $10 and says, "Good luck at GDQ." Thank you very much, Era from. And to kind of fill you in on what we're looking at here, we have the Meryl versus Otacon ending for MGS1 and Twin Snakes. Meryl still $5 ahead at 125 over 120. So if you want to see Otacon make it through Shadow Moses, go ahead and donate towards that. For Memory of Alessa costume for Silent Hill 3, we are at $5 of 20 required. And for the second bonus game for A Bug's Life, played by Plywood, we are at $30 of 150. So if you wanna see any of that, go ahead and donate. Everything counts towards getting Raichu to AGDQ 2020 over in Orlando. All right, we got Mini set up here, and I'm just gonna go ahead and do one of these things. And Mini, whenever you are ready.
Hello, hello. How are we all doing today? I hope you're ready for some PS2 Goemon. So, time will start when I hit new game. So, 3, 2, 1, go. And it's not a good speed game if it doesn't have a 2-minute long intro cutscene. So this intro cutscene will actually let me explain what's about to happen. So pretty much right when we get into it, we're going to be doing the first trick of the run. And it's a little strange how it works. When we get to it, you'll find it quite amusing what we have to do and how much time it saves. It pretty much is done, not exactly right when we gain control, but very quickly right after we gain it. So if there are any more donations, you can go ahead and read them off because we got a intro to listen to watch.
I don't believe there's anything as of yet, as of a refresh, but again, as I just mentioned during the intermission, everything is going towards getting Raichu to Orlando to run MGS3 at AGDQ 2020 in about a month. So if you've got any wish to see that, go ahead and donate, and I can guarantee you everything is greatly appreciated.
Isn't about Naruto, but it does have a character named Sasuke in it. So, you're not that far off. So most people probably don't know about Goemon. It wasn't a very popular series in the West. It only got, I think, 3 releases here. But it's very big in Japan. There are a lot of games in this franchise. It's another one of Konami's franchises, and yeah, this has a lot of like I said, a lot of games in Japan. Only 3 that made it here. This was actually apparently supposed to be localized and released here, but it never did. Don't really know why, but oh well, we never got it. It's a shame. Alright, so we're finally gaining control. So this game has some weird quirks to it. Most notably is the camera. So the camera is controlled very strangely. Normally, if you just move the right stick, it does absolutely nothing. If you hold down R2, you can move it left and right. and if you click L3, you can move it all the way around. Other than that, the camera does not do anything. You can't control it yourself. You have to press a separate button, 2 separate buttons to control it. And so camera control plays a big role in this game and making sure that you move correctly. There's some other quirks to the camera that we'll get to, but it is definitely a very strange thing at first and takes a little bit to get used to. So hopefully the cat does not catch up to us. Okay, he didn't so far. If he does, we get a little... Oh, no, he did. You get a little dialogue if he catches up to you, but I was able to avoid it for a bit. Anyways, here's the first big trick. I'm going to talk to Goemon's mom, and we're going to pop open the disc tray, close it, and then leave the house. So what that did is that disabled voice acting for the rest of the game. There will be no voice acting cutscenes anymore, and skipping dialogue in cutscenes is tied to when the voice actor finishes their line. So by disabling voice acting, we are going to save about 15 minutes on text alone. It was actually a lot more time saved before we skipped the 3rd dungeon, but the time saves a little bit less because there's less game we're playing through now. So yeah, you'll see right here this cutscene with the wise old man. This text is going to speed through really quickly because there is no voice acting. And so there will be no voice acting for the entire game. And funnily enough, this has no other side effects except at the very end of the game. When the game displays the end, it can't play the credits and it soft locks. So other than that, you can get through the entire game with this, with no side effects. Very bizarre. Cannot pet the cat, unfortunately, Apache. So we'll also be seeing this quite a lot. We're going to be looking up at the sky when we run around in some of the overworld areas. This isn't just because I memorized the areas well. Characters, enemies, and whatnot load if the camera is pointed at them. So if the camera's not looking at them, then they don't load. So when we're in the overworld walking around, we're just going to be looking up at the sky because that will despawn all the enemies, and then we don't have to worry about them. So you're going to be seeing that a little bit. And we got some pocket change, and now we're going to head on our way to the first dungeon, the Wind Dungeon. I think it has an actual name. I don't know what it is. I just call it Wind Dungeon because there's a lot of wind in it. So we're going to head into the shop and buy 1 heal, and then head out. And then we have a gate pass to go through here, so we can talk to this guard and make our way out. So another strange quirk is that when you go through a loading zone that is tied to opening a gate, the camera will be pointed behind. It'll be facing Goemon. So if you try and hold forward to just like walk out, you will turn around and go back through the gate. And it's very disorienting. So when you go through a gate loading zone, you want to make sure to be holding down R2 so that the camera will snap behind you. And you can move forward like normal. And just doing some menus real quick. Oops, I'm getting discombobulated. Okay, there we go. So we have to go over to this village to get a permission slip. So we get something. I don't know what it is, but we need to go here to get something in order to progress to... I forgot to hold R2. There's an example of it. I wasn't thinking. You hold forward to walk forward, and then you go back through the loading zone you came in from. So we gotta kill all these guys in the village. They're causing a ruckus. So we want to pay attention to the money they drop and the XP that they drop. We want an equal amount of both. Sometimes they can drop only money, only XP, or a little bit of both. We want the latter because we need both of those things. In older routes, if they didn't drop any money, then you would have to go out and farm some, because normally you need to make a purchase here, but now we don't have to, so money is no longer a factor in the early game. Should be one more, he's right here. Oops. And these guys have a really dumb attack where they just kind of launch themselves. But thankfully we don't have to worry about that much. Okay, so now we're level 4, and we are on our way to the first dungeon now. We'll talk to this guy, and that will bring us into the house. We're actually going to be doing, to start off the first dungeons, we're going to be doing a new trick that my PB still doesn't have yet. Also, we put all of our stats into strength, that's so we do a bit more damage, and we equipped the sword that the old guy just gave us. So again, looking up at the sky, this will despawn enemies. You can also see the quite bizarre cloud texture. It's much easier to see in the in this area we're about to go to, where you can see like the seam of the skybox, or the seam of the texture. Oh, and also looking up at the sky like this actually also unloads Goemon. So I was jumping there, but you couldn't hear him jump because he wasn't loaded. Same with here. Like, normally he makes a sound when he jumps, but he is not loaded, so there's no sound. So here's a cool jump that another Goemon runner, Czar, came up with. There's normally you're supposed to hit a switch up there, but you can go around here and do like that and skip the puzzle. Saves about 20 seconds maybe? I don't know exactly how much it is, but it's a decent time save. Anyway, we're coming up on a big skip. We're going to enter the Wind Dungeon the way you're not supposed to. We're going to skip the first half of it. Normally you're supposed to fight these guys. We are not going to fight them. We're just going to run away. And we're going to do some tricky jumps and do a wall jump off of this like gate to get up here. There's also wall jumps in this game, by the way. It's a little tricky. There we go. And we're going to climb this out of bounds area. And go in here. This is about a minute faster than doing the Wind Dungeon the normal way. Oops, my camera's all messed up. So yeah, this is the second half of the dungeon that we're in right now. Normally, you would go through the first half. It would actually get a stronger weapon to use for the first boss, but you end up saving more time skipping the fight with the weasels and the actual first half of the dungeon by doing it this way. Do about a minute time save. We still have to deal with some weasels, however. There are these flying ones in this next area that are a real pain, and we're gonna try and see if we can kill them before they start flying. I think we didn't get to kill that one. Oh, no, we got them both. That was actually pretty good. Those guys, if you try and just do this without killing them, they will, like, do so ridiculous amount of damage to you. So it's a good thing we got them out of the way pretty quickly. So we're hitting those switches. Oh yeah, go ahead.
I was going to ask if I had a minute, but go ahead.
No, you're fine. I'm just pushing blocks.
Pushing blocks. All right. Well, I do have a couple of donations. We got the $10 from Sarge, who says, for the 2 alerts I got, best to Raichu Metal Gear Solid. Enjoy the marathon.
Wasn't that meant to be $50, Sergeant? I'm gonna ask the chat again. Also, sorry, Minnie, I was having food, so I was muted.
Yeah, you're fine.
And we've also got an anonymous $15 donation who says, Memory of Alessa costume, heyo! And with that, the Memory of Alessa costume has in fact been met for Silent Hill 3.
Uh-oh. Anonymous is back.
Anonymous is back!
Dropping that dollar.
And I did also want to call attention to a bid war that has not seen any action just yet. The Gunman Clive character choice coming up in a few runs. You can choose between the original character Clive, which is a fairly standard sort from what I have understanding. We have the Duck, who can fly higher but doesn't have any weapons and doesn't have any boss fights. Or Miss Johnson, who can float or and has to stand still while firing when she's on the ground. So if you have a preference on which character Peter Afro uses when he's running Gunman Clive, go ahead and get your donations in and make your vote.
Get that dollar in, boys.
That's it. Get all of the dollary-doos in.
Alright, so we're almost done here and on our way to the boss fight. Just pushing some blocks, hitting some switches.
All this block pushing, Minnie, it's reminding me of Deadly Premonition.
Going for the part-time job.
The FBI doesn't pay enough, I guess.
No, the FBI does not pay enough. So coming up on the first boss, normally I don't have this extra heal, but I'm getting it for safety. This weapon is pretty short. It does not have a lot of range. So we need to get really close to him. And that's kind of scary because we also don't have much health. We've pretty much been skipping most enemies and battles, so even like barely 20 minutes into the run, we're already underleveled. And we're pretty much going to be underleveled the whole game. So
It's fine. It's fine.
yeah, it will be fine. It'll be fine. So yeah, here's a cutscene, an unskippable cutscene, can't match the attacks, but, as I said before, all voice acting is disabled, so it's just kind of going to be silent. We're watching a silent movie.
I'm trying to
with
learn
music.
Japanese. While I was busy there, I was trying to learn Japanese quickly so I could be the voice actor, but it's not going at all.
This guy has some name, I don't know what it is. I just call him, he's the Green Gundam. That's what he is. So when he does that, like, power-up attack with the red, there's basically just a hitbox around him, and it does about 10 damage to you. So we want to avoid that, make sure we don't get hit by it. Okay, he's doing this attack. So we want him to do this attack because he just basically leaves himself vulnerable for a really long time. You can get a ton of hits in on him. Ouch. We're fine. Oh no. Okay. We're good. And Green Gundam is down.
He didn't look that tough.
He's not that bad. We're going to be picking up the Thunder Sword that he dropped. And so that is the first dungeon down. And now it's time for about 5 minutes of cutscenes. So we can hang out here. Put the controller down, give yourself a break. You deserve it.
Very comfy speedrun.
This is a very comfy speedrun. So how are we all doing today? We doing good? I know Raichu's doing good. He got PB.
Yeah, 2-minute PB. Almost.
He got a big PB earlier. GG once again.
Thank you, Minnie. This will be a big PB for you. I can feel it, dude.
We'll
I
see.
got one. Lime's got one. I mean, it's just how things are going to go today, I guess.
PV City. Diplatonic PV?
He might have, actually. I don't know, because I don't know how many full game runs he's done. I'll find out, though. So I'm
I
curious.
have to ask him. How have you been doing, Python? You've been hanging out, running the show.
Yeah. I'm having a fantastic time. I get to sit here, watch some speedruns, talk a little bit. You know,
Do some shilling.
Oh yeah. I am notoriously horrible at shilling, but since this isn't for me, I can just do it, man. I go for it.
Yeah, I'm just sitting here wondering.
Chill all you want.
Sergeant has disappeared with that $40 he owes me.
He only gave you 1/5.
Yo, does he think I'm an idiot or something? Come on, dude. No, the Irishman won't know. He won't figure it out. Come on, Sergeant Silent, dude. You won't trick me.
So there's some lore happening. I don't know what it is. Something happened. Cat walked away sad, I guess. Who knows? Now we're getting a lecture by this big cat. Whatever. I'm sure he's saying something important.
You know, when a giant like tiger speaks at you, you listen.
You
All
listen.
right, you listen.
Yeah.
There's nothing else
you don't
you do.
ignore him. Doesn't even matter if you don't speak the same language. You listen to him. He lectures you. You pay attention.
It's probably worth pointing out as well that all you need is another $110 dues for plywood to run Bug's Life. Almost like Ghost Babble. Bug's Life. And it looks like Meryl's gonna live, unless somebody chucks a $5 towards that, or I guess $6 to edge it out. Come on.
Man, you guys got that dollar. Let's see it.
Oh, I see you hiding it behind your back. You can't get away with it.
And of course, like I said a few minutes ago, Gunman Clive looking a bit lonely, but you can change that. You can decide to make Peter Afro a duck for his run. And how cool is that?
I mean, dude,
That's pretty cool.
you have that power right in your hands, or your wallet, I guess. Or your PayPal account. Use that power to give me the power to buy a plane ticket.
So we're coming up on the end of this cutscene, where we'll be going back to the town, doing some item purchases, talking to the wise old man again, and then heading out on our way to go to a certain area. I don't know why we're going there, but we have to go there. So, to get captured. See, it's just like a Metal Gear game. We get captured.
Yeah.
Exactly like those Metal Gears everyone talks about. So once we finish up our shopping and we head out on our way, we'll be pretty much on track to go straight to the next dungeon, the ice dungeon. And the ice dungeon has a couple cool skips and tricks in it. Most of them are... There's one of them is a big one that saves about like a minute and a half or so. And the rest are just, making sure your movement is right and you're doing all that good stuff. Where did I put my controller? Oh, it's on my lap.
First rule of speedrunning, Minnie, don't lose your controller.
It's got a wire, so it'd be pretty hard to lose it.
Just follow the wire. Oh god,
Just
it leads
follow
to
the wire.
nowhere.
Doesn't help that these DualShock 2 wires are like 20 feet long.
Oh, they're ridiculous.
Like folds in on itself and just sitting right next to it. Ridiculous length.
Well, I mean, you don't want to sit too close to the TV, I suppose.
That's true. Damage your eyeballs. Playing too close to the TV screen. So for some reason, you regain control only to lose it 2 seconds after. I don't know why they did that. Gain control for a bit and then throw yourself back into like a shorter cutscene.
That's a very Metal Gear-esque thing to do, though, as well. Also, the colors of that look similar to a certain other decorative flag. Yeah, no, like, that's a very Metal Gear Solid thing to do. Like, gain control for half a second and just take it away.
So I actually have good Dala here. So I was actually able to afford more heals than I normally buy here, which is good because it means I have more overall to use during this section in case things go wrong. So this is the Thunder Sword that we got from beating the Green Gundam. This thing obviously does some thunder damage. We're only going to be using it very briefly. It doesn't get much screen time because it gets taken away from us, we get it back, we use it one more time, then we equip something else, and then it gets taken away from us for real. So, we don't have much time with this sword. Although, to be fair, it's not that good, so I'm not going to lose any sleep over it. It's just that the weapon we use in the actual Wind Dungeon is pretty bad. So we want this one. So again, you'll see in the next area that we're going to be looking up at the lovely sky that moves really, really fast. For some reason, the clouds are like super speedy, and it's very disorienting when you notice it.
I'm guessing this is lag reduction.
It's lag reduction, and also because this was in the era of games where they didn't know what to do in Overworld, so they just threw 1 million enemies in there that spawn forever. And they're really annoying, so we don't want to fight them.
Also, when you look up, it just despawns them.
It despawns them, yeah. So it's lag reduction and to make us not annoyed by like 20 million enemies. And again, when you notice the clouds moving really fast, it is a little disorienting.
Yeah, I'm just looking like that.
How fast they move. That's not.
hard to look at.
Goemon does not run that fast. It's just the sky is fast.
I guess they probably didn't expect anyone to look at the sky that much.
Yeah. We gotta kill all these enemies. And that will trigger this cutscene where we are going to get captured by Yai, a ninja. Gonna get thrown in jail, but we'll be breaking out. Don't worry. We'll be breaking out, we'll be making an interesting friend as we escape jail. Our favorite characters, exactly. So I have no idea what these guys' names are. They look weird. But they're going to be our friends in jail, and our friends later on in the game. So they will appear periodically. Oops. So he's some sort of, like, goat man wrestler dude with, like, bear sidekicks. I don't know what their deal is, but they're in the game. So we gotta deal with them. Anyway, here's intense stealth action. Even this game has stealth. Okay, the stealth is over. Alright, and now everyone's just in time for the greatest cutscene in the game. The best one. It's actually not that long, but it feels like an eternity because of how stupid it is. So, enjoy it.
That's an interesting outfit that guy's wearing.
So, of course, we have to see every single one of them make the jump, then land, fall off, and slowly climb themselves up. I'm gonna see it every single time. It's so you know they tried, you know? There's no way we can just infer that they made it. That would be ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. Anyway, we're going to lock on with the cat, and now the cat will do nothing for the rest of the game. He's useless now. He's just kind of gonna be there. Oop. Fuck. He's still sitting on it. So yeah, now the cat does nothing. He is not going to serve any purpose. Ah. Of course I'm gonna do that, DCX, come on. I didn't get it as stylishly as I wanted to, but that's okay. It's a little clip out of bounds. And you can wall jump through the wall you clipped in from, and it looks really cool, but I kind of messed it up. That's okay. It doesn't save any time anyway. It's slower.
It's fine.
So we get our Thunder Sword back, and we get some other thing from Tracksuit Yai. She's got her tracksuit on.
Yeah, she's ready for any occasion.
Oops. So you might have noticed when equipping the Thunder Sword that I put 1 point into a stat, and then I equipped the weapon and then took it out. So when you're equipping weapons and spells and stuff, the only thing that the game checks for is whether or not in the stat screen you have enough to equip it, not whether or not you've accepted the stats. So you can actually put points into a stat to equip an item or a spell, and then immediately take them out, and then you didn't lose your stats you can put into other things, but you equipped the weapon you wanted. We're going to be doing that pretty much the whole game to equip lots of different stuff. So we're going to be cheesing the XP system a little bit.
It's fine. It's fine.
Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it.
It's just speedrunning things.
So whether or not that is an intentional decision is kind of hard to figure out, really. But we'll use it. Doesn't matter. We will be using it. So now we're just walking on our way to a cutscene. So if you got any donations, Python, or anything to plug, give it a holla.
Well, I was just about to say, I heard from Botanic Guy, and it wasn't a PB for him in his race, on his side.
That's unfortunate, but it was a good show. It was
No,
a very
it
good
was
show.
Very nice. But I wasn't actually sure, and I was like, is it? I can't remember. Let's find out. But no. So we don't have to worry. There's no pressure now.
Yeah, there's nothing as of yet, but of course, can't go wrong in letting y'all know. Of course, this is Tactical Fundraising Action 3 Irish Thunder. We are raising money for Raichu to get his self all the way from Ireland to Orlando to run MGS3 European Extreme up on the big stage. We have $470 out of a goal of 1,000. And we do have some goals and bid wars that we'd like to push. Of course, the ever steady MGS1 Twin Snakes ending. We have still Save Merrill leading at 125 to 120. So if you want to see Otacon be best bro,
It's just a $5 or
It's just
$6, I guess.
yeah, that's a got to chuck up $6. We've also got the Gunman Clive bid war between the characters. You got Clive, a duck, or Miss Johnson. And again, if you want to see Peter Afro just be a duck, I mean, it's not a goose, but hey. And we've also got the new incentive that just opened up, their second bonus game for the end of today. So you have until the end of Metal Gear Acid 2 with Copper Tank to get this one met. It's a Bug's Life even, run by Plywood.
Close enough.
And that's sitting at $40 of $150. So yeah, get your donations in if you'd like to see any of that. And of course, every little bit helps us get Raichu to Orlando.
And I'm not going to Disneyland, I promise. Just GDQ.
Alright, so now we're in the second dungeon, the Ice Dungeon. And there's a lot going on in here. We'll be equipping a bunch of items, and there'll be a cool skip coming up in it. So for now, we're just going to break through this ice. And start swimming. This is the first real instance of... There's a lot of swimming in this dungeon. Despite it being ice, there is more water here. So now I also have to be really careful on these menus here, especially when I'm putting points into things and taking them out. Especially at this part right here, because if I go too many points into one stat and then accidentally go back into gameplay, it will accept my stats, and then I will not be able to change them, and that will kind of really, really mess up the route. So I need to be very careful on those menus to make sure that I don't exit out of the pause screen with points in those stats. We're just waiting for this thing to end right here. Oh, he got me. I got turned into a snowman. That's okay. We're through. So again, picking up money and XP along the way, not really important right now. We're not going to be purchasing anything for a while. And we get a lot of money from beating the boss of this dungeon. So really defeating enemies is not much of a priority for us, since they just don't give us enough reward for it to be worth it. Just doing some swimming, and we're actually coming up on the sequence break in this dungeon. I just call them the ice jumps because you do them in the ice dungeon. There's a set of tricky jumps over some fences that you're normally not supposed to get over this way. So it's going to be done using a technique where you get the maximum height off of your jump. So getting that max height is very bizarre because of the weird inputs you need to do. But basically, you need to have a extended X press, extended jump, and then let go and quickly tap again to hit your max height. And that will let you slide over the top of those fences and skip having to go through there and hit a switch to disable that electricity on the bottom section. So that is what you're normally supposed to do, but these jumps skip that. So we got them all pretty quickly, which is very good. Now up here we're going to be using some wall kicks in a rather creative way to make sure that missile guy doesn't annoy us very much. Although this can be pretty difficult because you need to have some very fast jumps. Okay, and we're up there. We're on our way out now. We have to hit those switches in each of these 4 areas that are closed off with ice to raise the water level so that we can push some blocks to unlock the boss door. Unfortunately, despite the fact that this game has a somewhat recently found whole dungeon skip, there are no real ways to get into these boss rooms early, or and stuff like that. So for right now, we have to do most of these dungeons the way you are intended to do them. Oops, come on. There we go. And also, swimming in this game is kind of strange. You go very slow. You swim very slowly when you are swimming down. Certain angles that Goemon swims at will actually make him either speed up or slow down. So you need to be pretty careful what you're rubbing up against when you're swimming. You especially go slow when you're swimming really close to the ground or really close to a ceiling. So you want to pay very close attention to when you're doing that. And we're actually going to be picking up a weapon right here that once we finish this dungeon, we're going to use this weapon for the boss. But we're actually going to keep that weapon equipped for a majority of the game, because after we beat this dungeon, we don't need to fight any enemies until right before the second to last dungeon. So combat is pretty much going to be avoided entirely after we finish this dungeon, because there's no need to fight enemies. So the weapon we have equipped does not matter. So we will just use that ice weapon. Ouch. It's okay. Making our way through. Oh no. Okay, we're good. Also, for some reason, here's another fun fact. If you press R1 and L1 at the same time, you can disable the HUD. I don't know why, but you can do that. If you wanted to take a gorgeous screenshot of this lovely looking game, you can disable the HUD. I'm going to pop into that pond just for a free heal so I don't have to use one of the ones I purchased. Here's some other unintended stuff. You're not supposed to be able to make that jump, but if you know your wall jumps and timing, you can get there early, and you're supposed to press 2 switches in this area, but the game actually only checks to raise the water level to max if you've hit the final one. So all you have to do is hit the final switch, and then the water level will go to the highest height, which is very convenient. This game does a lot of things where it just assumes you did it correctly and then doesn't bother trying to double check whether that's true. You'll especially see that coming up in the skip for the 3rd dungeon, where the game will just assume that you got the item that you get at the end of the 3rd dungeon. It won't actually check. It will just assume, oh, you're at this point, you must have it. I don't, and it doesn't give it to me, but the game still lets me progress, so not going to complain. Not going to complain when everything works out. So we equipped the hammer here. We actually only use the hammer in this dungeon because it actually breaks those ice blocks really, really fast. Any other weapon, it will take quite a long time to break them. So we want this hammer just to save a little bit of time on breaking the ice encasing these switches, as well as the ice that leads into these areas that we're going into, where it takes 1 hit to get a crack in it. Normally, with any other weapon, it will take 3 hits to actually get a crack to show up to break through the ice. So thankfully, this weapon makes those just a little bit faster. So we're coming up on the end of the ice dungeon. Got a boss fight. And I'm going to equip the Ice Club. I'm going to put 8 points into Strength. And then we're going to take him out. So now we've got the Ice Club equipped, and we are ready to fight the boss. Just get a sip. Reminder to stay hydrated, everybody. Get some good hydration in you. The real quick heal. We're going to go for the double. You can push both of these if you line yourself up correctly. We're going to try and do that again right here. This saves a little bit of time from the cutscene playing. It's not imperative that you get it, but I want to get both of them to show it off. So there we go. Got them both. Easy every time. Drinking tea? What kind of tea? Let us know. Share what you're sipping on. Come on, get up there. Earl Grey. Sounds pretty good. Alright, so we got another cutscene here. Again, all these cutscenes are supposed to know, supposed to have voice acting, but because we disabled them at the very beginning of the game, they are silent besides sound effects and music that might play during them.
I like actually Sergeant's idea to let everyone know when they're in a $350 donation what they're doing. Sergeant, you should let me know what you're drinking on a $40 donation.
Just give us 350 and we'll read off what you're sipping on live on stream. Anyway, I don't know who this girl is, and also I don't know who this guy is. We saved him earlier. I don't know what he's doing here.
Just hanging around.
He's just hanging around. I guess that girl didn't like it because I don't know what happens. He gets sucked into the wall or something.
Oh, I hate when that happens, dude.
Yeah, it's the worst.
Just living your life, mind your own business, and all of a sudden...
Sucked into a wall. Anyways, this is the conga face in a wall boss. You're supposed to like hit these switches to actually go attack him, but your weapon kind of extends through this thing, through like the armor around him, so you can hit him without actually having to do what you're supposed to do. And then when you hit him too many times, he does this piss rain attack. You just run away and then run back, do more damage. Doing it again. We're gonna run back. Now that he's on low health, he's gonna do a different attack, and we can't hit him during this attack, so we're gonna wait here for that attack to end, and then for him to start doing a different attack. Because if we actually go up close and wait right there, then he'll just do the acid rain, piss rain attack instantly, and we'll have to wait another cycle. So by backing off for just a second, you save a cycle. Oh, and also during that fight, our cat was kidnapped, but now he's back. Not that it matters, because he doesn't do anything. But he's back, so if you missed him for the brief amount of time he was gone, well, good news, he's back in action. Ready to help us out. His name is Kotora, I think. I think it's his name. Kotora, something like that. Here's another long cutscene. What's it like out, Raichu, in good old Ireland?
It's cold, but otherwise it's not raining or anything, which is nice.
That's good. It is, let me see. Mine. We got a nice 20 degrees Fahrenheit over here. It's not supposed to snow again today, but we already got quite a lot of snow, so hopefully no more, please. That'd be nice.
Snow is not fun to deal with.
It's fun to look at. I like looking at the snow. I don't like going out in it.
Yeah, it's like getting to see it that's fine. Being in the snow.
That's a thumbs up when I get to look at it. When I have to go outside in it, not a fan. Not a fan. At the end of this cutscene, we're going to get a ice spell. And up to this point, we haven't been using any spells. And after we get this ice spell, we're also not going to use it for quite a while. But this one actually does have a use. You get a fair amount of spells in this game, and we use a lot, none of them. Most of them are kind of useless to us. But this one we'll be using for a quick kill on a boss later on. So it has some use.
May I butt in here for a sec?
Go for it.
Okay.
Okay, it's gonna take a little longer than a sec, but I mean, this one's pretty good. we have $25 coming in from Solid Spider Snake, and his comment reads as such: Earl Grey tea is a flavored tea that is infused with bergamot orange. Flavored teas consist of true tea leaves that are infused or blended with fruit, flowers, herbs, or spices. The rind of the bergamot orange is dried and added to black tea leaves to produce Earl Grey tea. Bergamot oil extracted from the rind is also used in certain blends. Black tea leaves are the standard for Earl Grey, but sometimes green tea leaves or oolong tea leaves are used instead. Bergamot oranges are grown in Calabria, Italy, and parts of France. The fruit more closely resembles limes in appearance. The flavor of bergamot oranges is a blend of a variety of citrus fruits. It looks like a cross between an orange and a lime, but tastes more like a grapefruit or lemon. The bergamot orange tree is believed to be a hybrid of the orange tree native to Seville and the lemon tree native to Southeast Asia. Thank you, Snake, for the knowledge. It's greatly appreciated.
Thank you. I didn't know anything about that tea, but now I'm an expert. So thank you.
Yeah, he's basically paramedic right now, actually, now that he mentions it.
So we just got done chatting with the eyeball of Earth. And now he's closed his eyelid. He's going back to sleep, I guess. Whatever he was doing. This guy gives us our ice spell. And now we're out of the dungeon. So again, as I said, from here on, it's going to be a very long time before we're doing any combat again. So the weapon we have out does not matter, but we want this ice club because it is actually going to be useful in the fourth dungeon, the volcano dungeon, and I'll explain why it'll be useful when we get there. Now we have fast travel. That's the only time we're going to use it, though. Well, we won't be using it again. We fast travel one time, because you're required to for the story. Anyway, this is Sasuke, little robo-ninja. He's my favorite character in the series. Now we're going to follow him, because he is taking us somewhere. Who knows where. You just looked it up. It's okay. We all got the knowledge bomb, including you. The universal knowledge bomb.
That's an absolute today I learned moment. Brought to you by MGSR and Solid Spider Snake.
I did not know that beforehand.
Like, I had no idea. I thought Earl Grey tea was just like black tea with a... That's grey.
Made by a guy named Earl.
I had no idea that it was actually like a lot more substantial than that, with like orange zest and lime zest and all sorts.
So in this cutscene, we gave the wise old man our thunder sword. I actually don't know why he has it now, though. Whatever, it's not useful anymore, but he takes it from us. I'm pretty sure he does something with it, but what he does, I have no idea. Oops. Get out of this, well, and we're back in the first town. Crazy. It's the power of warping. Easy to go all over the place, even though we never do it again, but... Although we do have to activate warp statues later on, like interact with them to progress due to story flag reasons, but we're never going to actually like warp again. We did our first and only warp. So this shopping visit, we're just going to be buying a bunch of heals so we get full. Because we're going to want a lot of heals going into this next area. So talk to this guy. Actually, I don't need to talk to that guy. made a blunder, but that's okay. Robot Ninja Dogs. Unfortunately, there are no Robot Ninja Dogs in this game. Anyway, now we're just walking across the world map for a little bit. Looking at the sky, enjoying the beautiful weather. It's beautiful here in Japan, at least. It's not so nice in America right now. Very snowy here.
Hopefully it picks up in January.
Yeah, January is when we actually get the real nice weather. Although you'll be in Florida, so it'll be mostly nice.
Yeah, so I've heard. I have like been curious, but apparently it's nice all the time. So, or not all.
That
the time.
depends entirely on who you ask.
Yeah. It's
Depends
not.
on how much they like the heat.
Yeah, I guess what I mean. It doesn't snow over there, so that's good. Because I wouldn't like the idea of like if it was in where does it usually get held? Maryland for AGDQ usually.
Yeah,
You have, like,
Maryland, Virginia, the DC area, pretty much.
I've heard like the horror stories about being stranded for hours or worse.
Thankfully, 2019 was there was no snow until the last day, and I was gone on the last day, so I never got to see it.
Which is probably just as well.
But I came home to snow, so
Yeah, I got a bit stuck up there for like a couple hours.
And like that's the last thing you want when you're trying to get home. You know, when you've been there for the week, you just want to go home, and you're like,
I'm so lucky I had no delays and I got out when I did. Because, like, pretty much right when I left was when the bad weather started picking up. So I avoided all of that.
Alright, so what I'm hearing is then I should leave on Saturday.
I went, I think I went Saturday to Saturday
Yeah,
was when I went.
that's most likely what I'll do, I guess. I'm kind of just picking by like which is cheaper. Is it cheaper to leave on a Saturday or a Sunday?
It was cheaper for me to leave on the Saturday, so I went with that one.
I mean, really, the minute I'm finished MGS3, I'm ready to leave, you know. I'll fly home right after, I don't care.
Alright, I'm done with my run. See you guys later. Going back home.
Can we wrap this up? I really need to get to the airport.
My flight's in 2 hours. Let me just do my run. So we're following these monkeys to talk to some big elder monkey. I don't know why. He gives us a nice spell, though, that we use quite a lot.
I mean, I guess there's no bad reason to talk to an elder monkey, so...
That's true.
You sure they're not called peepos, though?
They're not called... As far as I'm aware, they're just monkeys. They don't have any other name. Anyways, there he is. There's the elder monkey. We're gonna chat with him for a little bit. Got some little guys around him, chewing on bananas.
Oh, it's Donkey Kong.
Yeah. Donkey Kong with some sick tattoos.
Yeah. Donkey Kong gone wild.
Right here they go. Now they're playing the trumpet. Stopped eating bananas to play the trumpet. So the spell that the Elder Monkey gave us is probably the most important to this route. You equip it, and if you actually try and press triangle while highlighted over it, it does nothing. But what the spell actually does is it's like a buff, and it basically makes it so that you gain double XP and double money from drops and pickups. And well, the advantage to that is quite obvious. Oh, hello, camera. That was interesting. Alright, now we're going to meet Ebisumaru, another ninja friend. This time, however, he's racked up quite a lot of debt at this roadside diner, and you'll see his debt show up on screen. He needs to pay 1919 Rio. The money you have to pay is always 1,000 more than what you have. So you need to get a little bit of money to free him. But we're skipping the third dungeon, so we're actually not going to free him. So Ebby is going to stay in Roadside Diner Jail for quite a while. We won't be coming back to free him.
Yeah,
He'll be stuck in jail. I mean, yeah, he did rack up quite a debt there. So I'm not gonna pay for his crimes. I didn't do anything wrong. He did. So
he'll never learn anything that way.
So we'll leave him in Roadside Diner Jail and head on over to the town. I believe in the game this town is called Osaka. I know that is an actual real place, but some of the towns are named. I think all of the towns are named after a real place in Japan, but I don't actually know for sure. But anyways, here's where we're going to be doing the big skip. This saves about 40 minutes over doing this the normal way. I am going to make a quick detour for safety and go sell... there's a construction worker in this area up here, and he really wants the log that I got at the beginning of the game. He will actually pay 1,000 Rio to buy it off of me. So if you didn't sell it before here, because you just wanted to get it out of your inventory, you can make a 100% profit on that log and get a free $1,000. So remember, if you ever get a log from someone in your hometown, keep it. You never know when some guy might want to pay you $1,000 for it. You never know, so always keep that log handy. Anyways, we're going to clip through here, hopefully quickly. This does not always happen quickly. We need to grab it at this edge right here, and it hopefully will slide us through. This is the only real part that's finicky. There's no real setup for this. You just kind of have to grab it and hope it works. You can lose a lot of time on this because sometimes it just will not clip you, which can be pretty annoying. Come on. Let's try reorienting. So the idea is there's a weird seam here and two grabbable ledges meeting at a corner, and we're trying to grab one of the edges and then have it slide us through, let us clip out of bounds. So it is, as I said before, very finicky. You can either get this really quickly or lose a lot of time to it, which is happening right now. Come on. There we go. Finally clipped through. So yeah, unfortunately, getting that clip is random. Every setup we've tried doesn't work. So it's just a random clip. You can try and do a setup, but it really doesn't do anything. So now we're out of bounds. We can see this town. We're going to be swimming along over here. We're going to hit a loading zone from below. And again, the thing I mentioned earlier about getting your max jump height, you're going to need to do that to hit this loading zone. So you need to get your max jump height, otherwise you won't hit this loading zone from below. So we're coming up on it right here. And there we go. We just skipped the third dungeon and about 30 to 40 minutes of gameplay. So now we're just straight on our way to the fourth dungeon. So if you got anything, Python, hit us up.
Absolutely. Just freshly in, Mrs. Underwater Smoking donated $10 and says, "Make it quick."
Oh. We're trying.
And not only that, she has put Otacon in the lead for Metal Gear
Uh-oh.
Solid and Twin Snakes.
Oh, baby.
So Otacon now has a $5 lead on Meryl. So, hey, if you want to see Best Boy, maintain the status quo. If you want to see Meryl take it, then that's $6 or more to make that happen as of right now.
So that is some blue-haired girl. I don't know what her name is. We're supposed to go to her house that she's walking towards and watch a 7-minute long cutscene, but we're not going to do that because that's slow, and I don't want to go to her house. Her dad has perfectly round eyes, and it's terrifying, and I don't want to look at them. So we're going to just make our way to the town. So normally she gives you a gate pass, and that's how you used to get into town. We don't have that gate pass, so instead we're going to do some jumps off of these spikes. A rather painful entry, but we'll be getting in. And there we go. So that skip, you get quite a lot of attempts at it because you pretty much get all of the healing items you have to try it. And since going to see that cutscene is 7 minutes long, you can fail that for quite a long time and still be saving time over doing it the normal way, which is pretty nice. So I just need to grab this ledge. Come on. There we go. We are sneaking into this castle. I'm gonna kill these bats for some extra money and XP. Fun fact, that ninja right there, if you talk to him, the first option is basically saying, "Yeah, I'm supposed to be here," and he goes, "Okay." And if you hit the bottom option, he says, "Oh, you're not supposed to be here," and then he kicks you out. So he doesn't actually do anything if he sees you, which is a little bizarre. So this is the Palace Dungeon. This is my favorite. It's got a lot going on in it. A lot of cool techniques. And this is also just a pretty well-designed dungeon. So our goal here in going throughout is to go into these rooms and pick up these keys hidden behind these paintings. We're going to need to be doing that quite frequently to open certain doors, and you need all of them to open the last door leading to the boss. So just hopping along. There's some invisible spikes that will show up if you step on certain tiles. We're just going to dodge them. hit that switch, jump over. Now we need to take a very specific path through here. So it is forward, forward. I'm going to go right. I'm going to look up to despawn a scary enemy. Then left. Break these pots for some free money. Forward. And then right, forward. And we're done with the maze. If you go the wrong way in the maze, you have to fight a mini-boss. We just call him the crab boss. For the longest time, we didn't know how to beat him. So if you made a mistake there, we would just reset. But now that we know how to beat him, it's not that bad. But if you just memorize the path you have to take, you won't be seeing the crab boss. So don't worry about that. Don't worry about that crab. Doing some tricky platforming here. And some skateboarding. It's supposed to be a whole puzzle in that room with trying to find the right path, but we know it already, so we're just gonna jump in it right away. Oop, come on. Okay. So we got some shurikens in that chest. They have one use exactly, and it's to hit a switch in this upcoming area. Other than that, they have no real use. So they're going to get their moment in the sun. And then I'm just going to toss them randomly. Also, there's a lot of slowdown in that room. And you can hit that switch through the wall. Because they definitely paid attention when making a lot of aspects of this game. They knew what they were doing. Gonna lock on, throw it, and there. Now we are done with the shurikens. I'm just gonna toss them. They don't serve a purpose anymore. So again, we need to pay very close attention to the amount of money we have right now, because we're going to be at the end of this dungeon doing a little like ghost hunting. When we defeat a ghost in this guy's house, he's going to drop a lot of money and XP. Especially for this point in the game, like it's a lot of money. But oh my god, this guy's bullying me. But one of the main things, right, that's going to happen from this is that we're going to like pretty much double our money from that. Like it's insane how much money we're going to get. And we need to make sure that we have at least 4,000 to 3,000 going into this upcoming area. So there's another cutscene. This is Gold Gundam. I don't remember what his name is. Someone said his name a couple days ago when I was practicing, but I've forgotten it. We can't beat him right now. A boss fight, quote unquote, is going to occur where we just have to run away from him. And it is a little scary because his attacks do pretty big damage, but his ball and chain, which he uses every so often during this chase section, at our low level, it will kill us in one hit. So we need to be very careful to not get hit by that. So he does his other attacks do about half our health. We pretty much need to heal right after that because otherwise, again, another hit will kill us. So we're in danger of dying pretty much this entire fight. But that's okay. Because we won't be dying. We'll be staying alive. So now he's chasing us. We're going to keep this camera right here just to make sure that I can see exactly where I'm going. And also I'm going to heal right there just to make sure that I am at a good health, just in case one of these attacks decides to hit me. Because it is a possibility. Do some cool jumps. Save some time over doing that normally. And now, this guy is going... Gold Gundam is going to run around and spin his ball and chain at us a couple times. He's going to do it a random number of times before he breaks down a gate that we need to get through. So he's going to attack us. Usually he does about 2 attacks, and then we'll do the automated one that he's required to do by breaking that thing down. Feels like we're getting... Oh no, there he goes. He broke it down. I kind of done. So we're almost near the end of this dungeon and this chase section. So we're just making our way away from this guy, hoping he doesn't catch up to us. Oops. And one of the shames about the glitch disable voice acting being faster is that this boss actually has, whoever the VA for this guy is really good. And so unfortunately we can't hear him as he says his lines. He's got some good ones. And a very good voice actor. Uh-oh, Discord issues. So this sword that we got right here, we're going to be using that for the second to last boss and the boss of the volcano dungeon. So.
Yeah.
Okay, all right, good. Just wanted to make sure that there was no issue with the commentary. Just because people are saying like it's down and stuff, and I just wanted to make sure that I wasn't just wasting my breath.
Yeah, no, you're good.
All right. Word. So up here, we're supposed to do like a Dompe race thing with the sword, but you can actually just skip it. Just go straight to the end. So, doesn't really mean much. Anyway, this is the second to longest cutscene in this route. I'll be right back. So enjoy silence, because this cutscene is supposed to have no music and just voice acting, but since we disabled voice acting, it's just kind of wind noises. So enjoy that.
Well, while he is taking his step away, I do actually have another donation to read. We got a $5 donation from Jeff G24X, who says, "Let's go Mini and let's get Raichu to Orlando." Smiley face. Thank you, Jeff. We appreciate it. Beyond that, I can give you guys an update on what we're looking at right now. Right now, we have $70 out of $150 for the bonus game for today, which is, of course, A Bug's Life by Plywood. So if you want to see that, that's just another $80 away. MGS1 and Twin Snakes endings are currently at $130 for Otacon, with Meryl trailing just behind at $125.
Good. I mean,
and and the Gunman Clive character still has nothing toward it. So if you're looking to change which character Peter Afro takes through his adventure, make sure to get the donations in. And we will be working through these Discord technical issues. Hopefully it doesn't affect too much. Our next runner is in fact on Discord, so if it all comes down to it, if Discord doesn't get fixed within the next hour and so, it won't be too much of an issue. Yeah, no, it's Discord.
Because I have been like wandering in and out trying to get it to work. I'm like, come on. I think as long as you're in a voice, it's okay. So
Yeah,
Tyler does, just make sure Tyler does not leave the chill out, and we're okay. But cause I was away, I did see from Jeff the fiver, and I appreciate that, dude. Thank you. And Mrs. Orton underwater smoking. I don't know if I said thank you, but thank you also.
but yeah, should it come down to it, my shift was actually going to be ending at the end of this run, but if it's necessary, I'll just take on the next one too. No problem. The show will go on.
Yeah, I mean, because obviously Glenn, he's kind of in trouble. He can't join right now. But hopefully, I'm just kind of glad that the technical issues are on Discord's side, not ours. That's good.
Yeah, something similar happened last tactical fundraising action too, on the second day, where pretty early on in the day, Discord just kind of went down, and I had no way of getting in.
I think I remember that.
Yeah. So this is it's apparently the MGSR curse. Once we put on a marathon and just Discord says no.
We broke Discord. What have we done?
Or we join another marathon, and then Discord has problems then.
Well, see, okay,
Like
so
during Peace Walker.
well, I mean, Diet Hootfest went off without a hitch, and that was Roy and I more or less directing in there, and that went fine. No Discord issues or anything. It was fine. But then, the GDQ showcase, it was back to tech issue town. So, but anyway, the show, as I said, will go on. We'll continue providing you the content you crave from the Metal Gear speedrunners, regardless of what Discord says.
Despite Discord, we don't need you.
So we got another spell from this giant boar dude, and that spell is double defense, and we're going to want to equip that pretty much right away. So we're doing another big menu here. This one's very important. We're going to be putting 34 points into magic, and then we're going to be equipping so double defense, double XP, and the monkey spell. And that's what we're going to equip. So normally what you're supposed to do there is actually take out a certain amount of magic so that you go down to 24 when you exit that pause. But for safety's sake, I'm actually going to keep all that points in, and then I'm going to grind for just a little bit longer than normal, just to get some extra XP to make sure we're safe. So a little bit of an extension on the XP grind, but nothing too crazy. So now we're going to go defeat some ghosts. Or rather, defeat a ghost. It's one singular ghost. But he's going to give us quite a lot of goodies for beating him, so... quite a lot of rewards for beating this one ghost. So, there is a chance that he can drop... So, like all enemies in the game, what they drop is random, like the amounts of each kind is random. There is a chance that the ghost can drop only money, only XP, or both. We want both. But there is the chance that he can drop neither. And thankfully, he did drop both. So, as you can see, we've got quite a lot of dollar now. We jumped about 1,000 from that enemy alone. The XP he gives is not that crazy, but the money he gives is insane. And we need all that money because we need to make some big purchases near the end. Hopefully, Discord fixes itself, because it'd be a shame if it didn't.
They are working on it at least, so that's something.
Okay. Did they tweet it?
Yeah, they have it on their site as well. They know
Okay.
it's broken. I think they're just... I mean, I think joining VoIP is okay. It's just don't try and send a text message, basically. Don't try and DM someone. That's not gonna work.
So normal messages are broken, but voice chat isn't?
Yeah, pretty much.
Weird.
Hey, don't complain. It's better than nothing.
That's true, yeah. It's better than the voice chat being broken, I guess.
I mean, if the voice chat was broken, there'd be no commentary on stream right now.
Just be silent.
Just that sweet, sweet game audio. We don't need Discord. We can just send messages in Twitch. It's fine. It's fine.
So right here, we're going to activate this warp statue, and then we're just going to leave, because we don't actually need... We just need to activate it. Because once we beat this boss coming up, if you don't activate that warp statue, you can't leave this area. So we need to make sure to hit that, otherwise we'll be stuck. But anyways, coming up is the hardest boss in the run, and by hard I mean he's just incredibly random and can basically kill your pace if he decides to not cooperate. That is the lovely fish boss, the bane of all of our existences, because he will kill any run he chooses. Basically, he is an evil fish. We don't like him, so we're gonna try and beat him. That was some interesting platforming, but we made it. Come on. Bats, don't get in my way, please. Get them out of here. Okay. They're in my way. Alright, we made it. So another thing I neglected to mention for most of this run is that if you die, the only way to get back into gameplay is to load a save. And if you never save, then when you die and hit continue, you're going right back to the beginning. So we're going to make a safety save before the fish boss, just in case he decides to troll us and kill us. So. Yeah, we don't want to do it all over again, because that would be about roughly 2 hours of gameplay, and I don't want to do that again. So we're going to do our safety save and go in.
I agree with this sentiment, Jefferson. I agree with that.
Anyways, our lovely friend, the wrestler and his bear guys, are now being mind-controlled by this Kappa over here. It's very unfortunate. He has a jar. I don't know what the jar is, what's in it. He's got it, though, and I guess we want it. He's also got our sword, which we need that sword. So we care more about the sword than the jar, but I guess, like, the jar is important for something. I don't know. Jar of greed. I don't know what's in that jar, but whatever it is, it's blue, and it glows, and it gives us some spells. But for now, we don't really care what's in it. So we're going to position ourselves like this. We're going to look up. We want to watch when this guy moves over. He's going to throw a rock down. We're going to grab it and ride it all the way to the bottom. So the point here is we're going to take these little green orbs that are down on the bottom here, and we're going to make the fish boss eat them, which is going to stun him temporarily and send him back to the surface. And then after he gets back to the surface, we can cast the ice spell we got, and it will kill him very, very quickly. So right now, just wasting some time, grabbing some bubbles, make sure we don't drown. The idea of doing this is to make sure that the fish boss is not doing an attack that we can't like hit him in, and he decided to do it anyway because that's just how he is. Oh, but I think he ate one of them. Did he? No, he didn't. Okay. So we're going to wait for him to rise up a bit. Need to get some air. Luckily, air right here, so we can recover. We're going to grab it and ride it up again. This time, he's going to eat it. There we go. So normally the strat is to let go of the orb so that he eats the thing and then we don't get that little cutscene. But in a marathon, I don't really care, so we're just gonna get through it. Come on, let us get there. And then we're going to cast the ice spell with the camera facing to the right of him. And... oh wow, didn't kill him. Unfortunate. Sometimes that happens, but he's done. And that's Fish Boss. He is really difficult because he can just kill your run. So thankfully he didn't. We still got some time loss from him, but he didn't kill it, so that's all that matters. Unflappable. Not yet, Mungo. That's coming up. Don't worry. Seems like we are still having some Discord troubles. Well, it hasn't kicked me out yet, so let's hope it stays that way. It just keeps happening. Anyway, the first spell that we get is actually useful. We're going to be using it on the next boss. The second spell, I have no idea what it does. So, whatever it does, I'm sure it's useful to someone who played this game casually, but I don't know what it does. So, we won't be using it. So, whew, that was the second scariest part of the run done. So it should be mostly smooth sailing from here. I say mostly because there is a chance it won't be, but I like to say I'm decent at this game, so hopefully that won't be happening. Now, I was kind of hoping that one of these enemies would poison me, because then I could explain how weird poison is in this game, but I'm still gonna do it anyway. So when you get poisoned, there's like a little poison cloud appears above Goemon's head, and you take damage continuously while you're running around. But it turns out the damage only ticks if you're actually on the ground. So if you just keep jumping, you won't get hit by the poison. It only checks if you're on the ground. So again, if you just hop rapidly, you can wait for the poison to wear off and only take about 1 or 2 hits of damage, as opposed to like 20 or 30 if you had just walked while it was on. So some very odd mechanics, but that's okay. Oops. There was me forgetting to hold down R2 again. So now we're getting to the most exciting part of the run. Pretty much every single Goemon speedrun has a grind for money or XP of some kind. And this is this game's grind. So we need to grind quite a few levels here. This actually used to take a really long time before we realized the double XP spell even existed. So now it's not that bad. Because we'll be raking in the money and the XP. So we're going to kill these boars because they respawn fairly quickly, and they actually drop a good amount of money and experience. So, it is not a Goemon speedrun unless you are grinding somewhere, or for something, or hoping for something to happen. So, our money total in this grind is somewhat important, but it's not the most important thing. We do need to pay attention to it and make sure we have a decent amount of money going into the town. But again, it's not a huge concern. Once we actually get into the dungeon, that's where the money that we have, once we make our purchases in the shop, that's where the amount of money that we have is going to be somewhat of an actual concern. For now, it doesn't really matter all that much.
So, while you're spending your time bapping some weird red pigs in the head with an icicle, can I do a thing?
Go for it.
All right. Well, Raichu can rest easy now because Sergeant Silent has sent in his $40 that he owed. His comment says, "This is going to be something. Don't forget to follow Raichu Metal Gear Solid. Also, API errors / latency update. We continue to observe elevated I/O latency. Google has finally gotten to updating their status page. We continue to await resolution." There's a URL there. 11:35 Pacific Standard Update. Google is currently investigating an issue with SSD persistent disk in our region, what our database clusters store their data on. We are awaiting their resolution. Given the I/O starvation, we are expecting continued API latency, as most, if not all, of our data stores are currently degraded. We will post updates as we get them. There's more there, but, like, you get the point.
Thank you, Sergeant, for the donation. That's a weird copy pasta. It's a little strange. Very unique. It's a new one. I'm actually going to real quick... We're going to do one more level and then we'll be good. Trying for one more level.
So, with that $40, Sarge has put Otacon even further in the lead at 170 to 125.
Oh, baby. That's what I like to hear. Alright. We're good. So now we got all the XP and money that we need. And we're not actually going to be doing anything with the XP just yet. We're going to be doing that later inside of the Volcano Dungeon, which is coming up. In the scariest menu in any speedrun I've ever done. You have to be very careful in there to not make a mistake, because if you put too many points into one stat and accidentally exit out before you're done with the menu, your run is pretty much done. So we need to make sure that doesn't happen. But luckily, we're going to take it slow on that menu and make sure there's no No big mistakes. There shouldn't be. I've played this game a couple times. I know what I'm doing.
You know, once or twice at least.
Yeah, once or twice I've played this game.
But if you bought 10,000 Goemons with a bad foundation, would you do it all over again?
I would do it all over again. In fact, I'd do it 15 times all over again.
You heard it here first, folks.
If I bought 15 Goemons and all of them had foundation problems, I would still do it all over again.
I guess the question must then be asked, what is a Goemon with a foundation problem?
That I don't know. I can't answer that. So we're going to buy some heals, get back to max, then we're going to buy this full magic restore, and then a pack of 5. So now we have 15 full magic restores, and we're going to be using them for this upcoming boss, and then for the final boss, because there is a spell we're going to be using on him. So I hope you enjoy these characters. I don't know what they're called. They sure look interesting, though. I guess they guard this place or something. Whatever their deal is, you saw them, so... Ouch. Not nice. Alright, so now we are in the Volcano Dungeon. And this dungeon has another cool skip that actually kind of shows you just some silly shortcuts they took while making this game. Isn't a fault on the devs. It's just funny. I think it's funny at least. And we're going to ride this beetle. Oh dear, he knocked me off. Not very nice. That's okay. If we get knocked off, we just void out and go back here. So we're going to try and ride him again. Hopefully he won't knock us off this time. So you actually can jump along these spikes and make it over there. We're trying to get over to that platform right there. But the direction you get sent after landing on one of these spikes is random. So you get sent in a random direction, and you can just get knocked straight off. So rather than bother with that, we're just going to ride him. He likes to spin around randomly, so take your bets on how many times he's going to spin. So far he's done it 3 times. 4, 5, 6. He did 6 spins.
Oh man, what a spinny boy.
I know. Anyways, they forgot to put a void out plane right here. So you can use that and then skip a large puzzle in this area. There's just a little bit of land down there where they forgot to place the thing that will void you out. So we can just use that to land down there and then jump into that room early. So anyways, this is the other reason why we have the Ice Club for so long. These giant flaming blizzards die pretty quickly from this Ice Club. Any other weapon, it takes a very long time to kill them. If we have our handy-dandy Ice Club, it takes them out in only a couple hits. In this chest is another full magic refill. We're just going to grab that for safety. So, because we have double XP on, and double money, when we beat the boss coming up, so he's going to normally drop us 3,000 Rio, but because we have double XP, he's actually going to drop 6,000, which means that we're going to end this dungeon with 9,999, which is very good because we want quite a lot of money going into at the end of this dungeon because we need to make a purchase of a weapon, and that weapon costs about 8k. So we want to make sure we've got all the money we have to spend on that. Also, a fun fact, this spike right here does contact damage. Even though we clearly didn't get anywhere near the part that could actually hurt you, the like spike top, you still take damage from it. Very cool. Anyway, I'm looking up right here because there's actually some enemies on this outward path, and one of them shoots missiles, and the missiles cause a lot of lag. And we don't want that lag, so we're going to look away. Anyway, these platforms kind of suck because they can actually eat your jump sometimes. Luckily, they didn't do that. So, no jumps eaten. I'm going to look up to hopefully make sure these guys don't cause too much lag. Okay, we're good. They got a couple missiles off, but we're fine. We are A-okay. So again, messing around with the camera to avoid those guys. Now it's time for some totally tricky platforming. Okay, we're done. And now it's time for the super scary menu that I was talking about. So we need to do a lot of things in this menu. And I'm going to be taking it a little slow because if I make a mistake, that kind of kills the run. So let's hope that doesn't happen. So we need 5 more magic. So we're taking the points out. We're going to put 40 in that stat. We're going to put 31 in this stat. We're going to equip that sword. We're going to take the 31 out from here. We're going to put some of this in strength. About that much is good. We're going to put the rest into health. So we have full HP, or more HP, more max HP. Then we're going to equip this magic refill, and then, oops, yeah, re-equip monkey magic, and that looks good. So there you go. You're not done with the scariest menu. So it costs 150 to cast this spell, but it takes more to equip it. So we're going to be putting all those points in to equip it, and then taking them out and just making sure that our max magic is enough to accommodate for that spell. So. Anyway, this is the Unicorn Boss, Unicorn Bot, Unicorn Gundam, whatever you want to call him.
sure are a lot of Gundams in this game.
There's quite a lot of them, yeah. So normally what you're supposed to do is play tennis with him, like Phantom Ganon. And we're going to do that for a little bit. We're going to indulge in his desire to play tennis. Just for a little bit. Nothing too crazy. I actually kind of made a mistake there, so... We're going to have to sit through a cycle of him doing random attacks before he offers to play tennis again. Come on. There we go. Alright. So we played tennis with him, and now, now this looks slow. Trust me, visually this looks like it's really slow. But this is actually faster than fighting him the normal way. We're going to hit him with this dragon spell that we got. We're going to refill our magic. We're going to do it again. We're going to keep casting this until he dies. This is fast. Just keep that in mind.
So while you're dragoning the boss, we do have a $10 donation from Father Hoot,
Ooh.
who says, I heard there was some tactical action to get some Irish dude over to America. As head of a major site to see in the U.S., I must donate toward this cause. Tell him to bring his son. I know him.
Ooh.
Thank you, Father Hoot. We are truly blessed by your appearance.
And he's done. So, fighting him the normal way, you have to wait a bunch of cycles for him to do some random attacks, and then you play tennis with him for a random amount of time, and then you go in and you can get, like, maybe 6 to 8 slashes on him. So while casting that spell a bunch looks slow, it's actually about 2 minutes faster than fighting him the normal way. So while it looked like it's somewhat slow, it is actually the fastest way to beat this boss. So. Very cool. Oh yeah, another thing that the game doesn't really explain. Up to this point, we've been collecting the three spiritual eggs. They look like eggs. I actually don't know what they do, but we've been collecting them. And well, they have a purpose. They do something. We'll find out what that is a bit later. So anyways, I'm going to go back into the menu, and I'm going to re-equip double defense. Uh-oh. Oh, okay, Python's just checking stuff. So anyways, here's the weapon we need to buy. This club. And that pretty much takes away all of our money. We're now very broke. Hello, please talk to me. And I'm gonna real quick just play it safe. Just buy another thing of those. Just to be careful. Alright, so our last shopping, hopefully our last shopping trip done. Now we're going to be heading back to the sea, so we can ride a boat that will take us to some place, and in that place is like an altar where we're going to put the three spiritual eggs we've been grabbing. Now, if you check our inventory, we actually only have 2 of 3 of them. you get the first egg from beating the puzzle dungeon to win the third dungeon of the game. But we skipped that. But the game just assumes that, oh, you must have it. So it doesn't even give it to you in your inventory. It just like appears in the cutscene because it just assumes that by getting to this point you have it. Also, look who's out of Roadside Diner Jail. That's right. Ebisumaru either paid off his debt at the Roadside Diner Jail or he finally broke free. One of the two happened. He is out of Roadside Diner Jail and he's back to help us on our mission. Very kind of him. So now we're going to see some more questionable design. We're going to ride down a really long elevator for a bit. And then as we ride it down, we're riding it down to hit a loading zone. And that loading zone will take us to the bottom of the elevator. So why there isn't just a loading zone from the start, I don't know. But we have to sit here and wait until we hit that loading zone. So it's an elevator to a loading zone to finish riding the elevator. That's right, Stealth. Very riveting. Alright, so we hit the loading zone and now we're at the bottom of the elevator ride. Thankfully they were considerate enough to know that we don't want to watch that cutscene going back up the elevator, so there is no cutscene going back up, thankfully. Anyway, here's the altar, and there are the 3 spiritual eggs. We don't actually have the yellow one on the left. That one just showed up out of nowhere. We're supposed to, but we didn't beat the 3rd dungeon, so we never got it. So it just kind of appears out of us, and I guess it turns this guy. I don't know who this guy is. He just kind of shows up at the end of the volcano dungeon. Turns him into a Kuma, I guess. Or some demon thing. I don't know. Something happens to him. Anyway, he got some sick tattoos from us, giving him our Easter eggs. And now this place is crumbling, collapsing, something happening. The HUD shows up on screen for 1 second and goes away. Thank you for the confirmation, Sergeant. Anyway, from the start of that cutscene, going to the altar, to when we gain control again is the longest cutscene in the game. Or in the run, rather. So, going to be riding this UFO to the final dungeon. You can actually mash through the text here and get the text box to clear early, but it doesn't do anything because they need to go through the animation for each of their lines. So, unfortunately, no time is saved here by mashing. So we got a nice comfy UFO ride. I can expand on the lore a bit. So, putting the 3 Easter eggs into the altar turned the random blue-haired boy into a Kuma, and then it turned him into a giant whale. And this whale is going to fly over Japan, and then he's going to shoot a big laser at the enemy base, and that will let us get inside for some reason. So if you were wondering what the story was to this game, don't worry, I don't have you covered. I only know this part. But yeah, big giant whale who's going to fly over Japan and shoot a laser at the enemy base, allowing us access. So do you have any comments, Python? Anything you're curious about?
I'm kind of just sitting here mesmerized by the giant tattooed sky whale. I mean,
He is a sight to behold. It is, in fact, a giant, massive sky whale, so, you know, you don't see that every day. If you have any lore questions in chat, be free to ask them, and I'll make something up.
the mark of a true speedrunner, right there, coming up with the lore on the fly.
Where do baby sky whales come from? I guess the 3 spiritual eggs. Why does something turn into a giant whale and fly over Japan firing a laser? To save the day, of course. If those events didn't happen, then we wouldn't be able to enter the enemy base, apparently. That's the enemy base, by the way. That big structure. To combat Gojira. It's a giant sky whale run on eco-friendly energy source. That... Maybe he's... I mean, are whales omnivores? I don't think they are. Maybe they are. I don't know. I'm not a whale expert. So I unfortunately don't know their diet, so I can't tell you whether or not it's eco-friendly or not. That was not revealed in the lore books. Yes, this cutscene's very long. But it's almost over. We're nearing the end. The whale flies through sky powers, I guess. Alright, so here we are. We are in the final dungeon now. And pretty much right when this dungeon starts, we're going to be doing the hardest trick in the run. So I'm going to make a safety save right when I can. And we're going to be doing this, because this skip is very fast. And it also looks pretty cool. So hopefully I get it. First try. There we go. Alright. So our safety save is coming up. It's right up here. And luckily, from right after doing the safety save, the skip is in the next room. So not much time in between. Alright, so let's hope this gets done first try. Because this skip is pretty difficult. I dropped it, unfortunately. That's fine. We'll take a death, and we will give it another whirl. So what you're doing is we're wall jumping off of the wall, and we're trying to hit the very edge of that platform. The platform, the like ceiling object or whatever, has some collision that kind of extends past its model. And you can actually wall jump off of that, and we're going to use that to get the height, and then we're going to hold the wall jump going all the way over and land on a block on the other side of the room. So I was hoping to explain that after I got it, but oh well. We'll give it another try. Oops, I keep doing that. Alright, there we go. We made it. Second try. So that skips a very long and annoying puzzle where you push some blocks down below and then have to climb back up while taking a lot of electric damage. Thankfully we avoided that. Now we are continuing along. Making sure to avoid that Thunder Dragon, because he's not very nice. He'll probably still hit us though. Okay, he didn't. Very kind of him. Now, during that area, I actually moved the camera up, again to deload, or despawn some enemies, but mostly to despawn a very, very specific enemy. We haven't encountered him, but he's very scary. He kind of looks like a, I don't even know how to describe him. He looks like a weird lizard hybrid thing. And the main reason we want to avoid him is because, well, one attack of his does about 100 damage. He does a ton of damage, and you pretty much can't kill him. So we want to make sure we don't encounter him. Now, luckily, he does not show up again for the rest of the game, but I looked up when I fell down in that bottom area just to make sure that he didn't show up. Because that's where he likes to spawn, is right there. Thankfully, we are past that, and we're just hitting some batteries. Blowing stuff up. Normal protagonist things. Oops. Oh god, I need to hurry up so that dragon doesn't catch up. So those thunder dragons that fly around, they like to hit you and make you fall down. But thankfully we avoided them. How much do we need to donate for you to fight him? That would have to be a donation directly to me, and not to... As much as I love Raichu, I would not fight those guys if I was not getting compensated, because they're very annoying and can kill you very quickly. Take a very long time to kill. So that would have to go straight to my mother base, and not to Raichu's, unfortunately. Also, pay attention to the cat's face here. Sasuke's a robot, but the cat doesn't know that. So when he spins his head around, and then Sasuke gets up and starts talking, the cat kind of freaks out, because he doesn't quite understand what's happening. Look at his eyes. He is alarmed. Doesn't quite understand that Sasuke is a robot. So he gets a little startled. And as we're going to stand in front of that gate, that's going to trigger these enemies to show up. These are like gate guardians or something. I don't know what exactly they do. But you destroy them, and then the electric gate goes away. And we can go in and hit this battery. So we need to do this 4 times. Yes, eyes are almost as round as the dude with the circle eyes. Yeah, he is terrifying. I have nightmares about him, but thankfully I haven't seen him in quite some time. So, I'm gonna kill this guy because he's being very annoying. Hello, let me in. So for marathon's sake, I'm going to, after I finish this section, quickly take a detour and go into the shop to buy some extra heals, just to make sure I'm safe for the end of the run. Because again, if we die, well, the last save that we have was after the really hard skip, so we don't want to load that up. So we're just gonna hope that we don't die. Should be easy. So again, briefly run in front of the gate to get these dudes to spawn. Now, the reason we do that, like, setup, almost, is because, they will fly directly away from you, and we really don't have a good way to hit them from a distance. So we want to make sure that they don't go anywhere. And that's the easiest way to keep them, in place. So, that is our technique for dealing with them. That's Santa Claus. That was the wise old man Sparty. That's his name in the lore.
So yeah, wise old Santa Claus.
He's just here. He made Sasuke, if you're wondering. Sasuke the ninja robot was made by the wise old man, aka Santa Claus. So I guess what happens if you're naughty is you get attacked by the Robo Ninja Sasuke. So try not to be naughty this year, everyone. You don't want to get seen. You don't want to get a visit from the Ninja Sasuke. Well, he wasn't actually made by Santa Claus. That was just obviously a. He's made by the wise old man. It's just he kind of looks like Santa. So we're gonna want to go in this store just to get some backup heals. Something that you guys might find a little funny about this game is that there are separate stores for. There's literally a separate store just for selling things. It's got its own building, and it's got its own sign, and the only thing you can do in there is sell items. You can't purchase things, can't do any of that. You can only sell. Why it exists, I have no idea. But, that's how it is. So there's a store specifically for selling, so you need to be very careful that you go into the right building if you need backup heals, because if you go into the wrong one, you might start accidentally selling things. Because you won't realize it. The first thing on the list is heals. That's the first item in your inventory. So you'll just start selling your heals and be like, hey, wait a second. I'm not getting more, I'm losing them. Oh, I'm in the selling store. My bad. You gotta wonder how the selling store makes money. Because I mean, all you can do there is sell things. You can't buy anything from the guy, so I'm not sure how he makes his money. Unless he's just really, really rich and doesn't have to do anything, so he just buys random crap. Who knows? Maybe they sell to the buying store. You might be right. Maybe they have a little deal going on. Well, you'd think at some point they would have realized, hey, maybe we should combine our stores together. That way, when someone sells something to you, you don't have to run over to my place for me to put it on, like, on the shelves. I can just, do it. But I guess they haven't thought it. They haven't thought that yet. That has not been on their mind. They're thinking about buying and selling. That's all that goes through their mind. Alright, so right here we're going to do a little bit of an enemy rush before we face the second to last boss. The only enemy here that's really scary is these Jidais. You might have seen them. They got a big lightsaber. They're not very nice. They take so many hits to kill that we're actually not going to kill them normally. We're just going to knock them off of this platform. And they'll die that way. That is the fastest way to kill them because they just have so much health. And it's not worth fighting them normally. So here's the Jedi. We're gonna try and make sure he doesn't do anything. Okay, we got him. He fell off the ledge. So far, so good. Here's another Jedi. So there's two Jedis this time. Need to make sure... Okay, we got one of them off. So there's an attack that they have that we really don't want them to do. Alright, and they didn't do it. There's an attack they have where they make some clones. And, You have to figure out which one's the real Jedi. We're not going to bother with that. We're just going to knock them off. Just gotta take care of this missile guy. Okay. Done with the enemy rush. Yes, Jedi with Naruto clone powers. Yeah, he's very scary. I don't think I made that clear enough. That's why we don't actually kill him, we just push him off the ledge, because we don't want to bother with him. So now we're going to be climbing up a bunch of stairs. And now, after all this time, we can finally have a showdown with the Gold Gundam. He has been bothering us for a very long time with his shenanigans, and we finally had enough. So we're going to get rid of him. So we're just going to be whacking him on the head with the sword. This is the only weapon that does, like, really any significant damage to him. Every other weapon will do, I think it either does very little damage or no damage at all. I think ZCX, if he's still in the chat, can answer that. I don't know for certain, but I'm pretty sure either the other weapons do very little damage or nothing at all to him. But he's down. Yes, okay, yeah. This is the only weapon that can damage him. So the reason we do that big scary menu, the end of Volcano Dungeon, is just to equip this one weapon to beat the boss. And the Gold Gundam turns out to be this giant black tiger with red stripes. He's pretty cool looking. I don't know if he was imprisoned or like captured by the Gundam dude. But here he is.
That cat has entirely too many legs.
Yeah, he's got a lot of legs.
He's a leggy boy.
Anyway, we just got a spell, and that's the last spell we're going to use. It is a time slowdown spell. And it's actually very useful for the final boss, because the final boss is, well, he's a little bit of a pain. So we want to slow down time, make sure he doesn't bother us. Anyway, here's our good friend, the goat luchador man with his bear sidekicks. He gives us a spell that we don't need, and he goes away. Here's a fun glitch. So, the stairs function more like, I think this is it. Let me just make sure. Yes, okay. So we're looking for this weapon. I'm going to put more points into HP. I'm going to put the rest of them into strength, just for a little extra damage. Alright, so we got double defense. We got our club weapon, which is the strongest we're going to get in the run. And we are ready to face the final boss. So I hope you guys have been enjoying this run. I really like this game. It's got some quirks from a actual gameplay perspective and design perspective, but I think the game is a ton of fun to play. So I hope you've been enjoying this run, at least somewhat. There's a lot going on, and if you don't know much about the Goemon series, there might be some stuff that are confusing to you, but I do implore you to check out the games. They are very good. There's a lot of games on the Super Nintendo. There's 2 on the N64 that are both in English. There's 1 on the Super Nintendo that's in English. And 4 games on the original PlayStation, and this one on the PS2. There's also 1 on the DS. So if any of them interest you, be sure to give them a try. Go check them out. They're fun games. It's a very fun series. And if you guys like action platformers, I'm sure you'll love this series. Except the bad one on PlayStation 1. Yeah, you can ignore that. Don't play... There's one on the PlayStation 1 called Kuru Narakoi, and it's got some really long-ass name. I only know the first 3 words in it. That game is pretty bad. Don't play that one. The rest on the PlayStation 1 are fine. You can play those. You can play Goemon Shinsadai Shimui. That one's good. You can play Uchu. That's another good game. There's Oedo Daikaten. Oedo Daikaten is, it's interesting. Not my favorite, but it's not bad. Alright, listen, Mongo. I don't know how to pronounce it. You want to correct me? Feel free. Let me know in the chat. Give me the correction. I've never actually said the last part of Shinsadai out loud. I've just read it. I only know how to say the first 2 lines, Shinsadai, so. Let me know in the comments below if I pronounced that right. Be sure to like and subscribe and follow us on Twitter, Twitch, Facebook, and Instagram.
And don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel and hit that bell to get your notifications.
Exactly, hit the bell. Hit the bell for notifications on all of our lovely videos. For every bell hit, is another wonderful person out there who gets notifications to our lovely videos, so be sure to hit the bell. You know, we're using the time stop, and now we're going to smack the crap out of this guy with our newfound club weapon. So now there's going to be kind of a weird glitch with the time stop. It's kind of just not going to work for a little bit. It's active, but for some reason, he will not be affected by the time stop for a little bit. It's going to take a bit of time for the effects to actually, like, you know, go in place for some strange reason. Oh my god, need to heal. So his swords do big damage. Okay, now he's actually slowed down a bit. So there we go. We can pummel him. Oh no. Oh no, he's doing the laser attack. Okay. He's right about to die too, which is really annoying. So, this club weapon does a bunch of damage to him, and if you do enough damage to him fast enough, he won't do this laser attack. Unfortunately, well, he ended up doing it. And he's literally... he was one hit away. So time's coming up. That's when the screen fades to white, Python. So when the screen goes white, that is time. And... time. That was PS2 Goemon.
Yo, big GG's.
What was my final time?
It looked like I might have been a little early in between the feed and what I heard. But
Okay.
you have a 2:39:47.
Nice. Nice. Very good. Didn't think I was going to get 2:30, but hey, we did it. So yeah, from here it's going to play an ending cinematic. We don't have to watch the rest of it. I just would like to point out that I said this at the beginning of the run, but this ending is going to start playing, and then there's going to be a thing where it's just the end, and the screen's going to fade to white. And normally, it's supposed to play the credits. But because we popped open the disc tray at the very beginning of the game, the credits won't play. And it will stay stuck on that white screen forever. So, somehow, popping open the disc tray and affecting with what the game can load has no consequences until the game's finished. So, that's a fun fact for you. So it actually has no ill effects up until the game is done. So, there you go. And so because you need to pop open the disc tray to do the glitch, this speedrun can only be done on console. To get the fastest times, you have to be on console because you can't pop open the disc tray on emulator. And unless you have I think a free McBoot PS2 can do it, but unless you have a Japanese PlayStation 2, the slim kind, or a slim PS2 with free McBoot, you can't get the fastest time. If you save before the credits reset and load, then the game will reinstate voice acting, and you can go through to the credits. So you can watch the credits if you save before the final boss and then reset the console. But we're not going to do that, obviously, because it's slow. I don't know what happens if you open the disc tray during the credits. I mean, the thing is, it doesn't load the credits. Like, it never gets to the credits. Once it says the end, and then fades to white, it just stops. The credits just won't play. So I guess if we've still got some technical issues to work out, you will see my thing of the game just stopping. It's coming up.
Yeah, you got any shout outs or anything to make?
Yes, I would like to shout out all the Goemon boys, Czar, DCX, Jeffersong, Mungo Meat, Nyron, DCX, and rest in peace, Dark Beardini. Love to give shoutouts to him. He was the one who actually got me interested in playing this game all those years ago when he did a race with DCX. Back before all these new skips were found, and the only technique was popping open the disc tray. That used to be the only trick the longest time, and it wasn't until the summer of 2019 that any of these skips got found. So this route is really new. It's very, very new. The world record for this game, if you're wondering, is a 2:34.09 by me. There is a runner who has a faster time at 2:32, but he has no video for his run. So as we say, no vid, no did. So his run did not exist until he provides video. But, well, he kind of hates Americans, so he won't. So, I have the record at 2:34.09. So, yeah, that's PS2 Goemon. There's the end. And, the game is soft locked. It will never, it won't advance past this, and it'll just stay here forever.
Glorious.
The times kept for this game are in our hearts, Apache. That's where we keep these times. They're in your heart.
All right.
So, yeah. That was PS2 Goemon.
Thank you, Minnie, for
Thank you guys for watching.
Yeah, thank you for a great run. That was very entertaining.
I'm glad everyone liked it. I love running this game, so glad I could show it off.
So we're going to quickly go back to our intermission, but before then, I do want to say we are still experiencing some Discord shenanigans. So bear with us. We do have a plan in place just in case things don't catch up quickly enough. So the show, of course, will go on. But we will be right back with some more Tactical Fundraising Action 3. Stay tuned.